82-year-old woman begs police, don't leave me with this man. Please help me. The police see the guns in the house. The man is right there. They laugh and they joke. The man says he's going to kill her in front of the police and then tells the police leave. They laugh, they chuckle. He then kills her. Police come. He blames the police for her death. Put up the picture. In Rio Rancho, New Mexico, local outlet KOAT reports the investigative team broke the story of how an 82-year-old woman named Miss Fennell on the left was allegedly killed by her own caretaker, Henry Cardana, on the right. Earlier this year, April 5th, after some believed the red flag gun law could have prevented her death had the police simply used it. So, Mr. Cardana has been charged with second-degree murder and will be in court on Tuesday. I'm going to give you significant details, a lot of background about what happened. 7:14 a.m., April 5th, a phone call was made to the Rio Rancho 911. Quote, I can't control her anymore. She needs her own safety. Needs to get the hell out of here, Henry Cardana said to dispatch. Cardana was talking about Miss Fennell. He had been her caregiver for several years. Adult Protective Services also played a role. So 14 minutes later, another call came into 911. The significant other of one of my patients, it is said, I'm a social worker, called me this morning and said, get her out of here. He kind of presented as being pretty angry and then hung up on me. And then when I attempted to call back, he did not answer. So I would just feel better if someone would do a welfare check. The social worker said to dispatch. So what do we have so far? You got two people calling 911. One, Mr. Cardana, and the other is a social worker saying, hey, listen, this is probably outside of my scope of work. And I need you to make sure that everybody's okay. All right. So during the 911 call, the social worker also explained how Adult Protective Services was looking into an allegation regarding the home, but it was closed 3 weeks earlier. Police then went to the home. Quote, we have Adult Protective Services investigating too, Cardana tells police. Yeah, but I guess they closed the case, the officer said. They closed the case, Cardana replied. While police are at the home, they mentioned to Ms. Fennell that the social worker who called 911 was working on arrangements to get her to a different location with more assistance. Quote, I don't want to go somewhere, she said. In a statement, Adult Protective Services said they do not have the authority to remove someone from their home without an individual's consent. Police then posed a question to Mr. Cardana about guns in the home. Why? Because they're visible. The cops can see them. They're right there next to the would-be victim, okay, at this time. And the cop says, quote, you're a firearms guy, question mark. Cardana says, oh yeah. Officer says, nice. They're loaded. They're ready to go. Cardana said, okay. The scene. Police walk in. The woman, the 82-year-old woman who deserves so much better than what happened to her. She's on the bed begging them, don't leave me. Don't leave me. she was in danger. As the officer began to say their goodbyes to Mr. Cardana, Miss Fennell, she begs them to stay. She says, please don't leave. Please don't leave. Then the conversation continues between Mr. Cardana and Miss Fennell. What did you say? Fennell asked. Mr. Cardana says this in front of the cops. It is on their body cam. I said you're fine until I kill you. Ha 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 ha. Everybody laughs. The cop laughs. Cardana says, oh, just leave. Just leave. He's threatened to do that, Miss Fennell said to the officers. She points out what you just heard is a crime. He just threatened to kill me. And instead of these cops taking action, the cops continued to talk among themselves, chuckle, brag about the guns that this man has, and left when Mr. Cardana said, get out of here now, go away. Roughly 4 hours later, according to a neighbor's 911 call, Cardana began screaming he had killed Miss Fennell. Police found Mr. Cardana covered in blood when they returned to the home. Henry Cardana blamed the police when they arrived. He said, you caused this. You didn't stop me this morning. It is your fault, end quote. He said he was going to kill her in front of the police. The police laughed, saw the guns. He told them the guns were loaded, and they left her there. She was begging them not to. Investigators interviewed a family friend who said just one day prior, a nurse visiting the home had concerns for Miss Fennell. Quote, she expressed some concerns that she might have been abused. The family friend said, you see, New Mexico has a red flag gun law. And that red flag gun law says law enforcement and prosecutors can petition the court to have someone's firearm seized if they are a threat to themselves or others. In KOAT's original investigation, they uncovered that Sandoval County, where she was killed, has never actually used the red flag law ever. And it doesn't take a lot. Basically, these things can happen within minutes. You contact a judge, maybe you send a text, an email, or possibly a fax, and that judge signs off on it. It's not as if it would have taken days. It literally could have taken minutes based on the statute. Put up the pictures again. How? She says, I'm unsafe. He's going to kill me. He says, you're going to be okay until I kill you. In front of the police. Police, they see all the guns. They see the history of abuse. They see the allegations that have already been filed. They do zero investigation. They tell him, basically, continue on. They don't even remove him just briefly. The simple investigative process should have been, sir, step outside so we can talk to you and talk to her without you being present. That didn't even happen. The blood of this dear elderly woman who knew she was going to be killed by this man is also on the hands of every single law enforcement official who arrived. Shame on you. And I don't care what your friends or your family may say, oh, Jimmy, it's not your fault. They are damn liars. That woman is dead because of you. Every single one of you. We have to reconcile that in your souls, and you should be charged with a crime. But the Supreme Court says that you committed none. Sharon, so sad.
It is disgusting. And these officers, kiki, and joke because people don't listen. to seniors, particularly those bedridden, on decline. Being a caretaker is a very hard job. What these officers did, dereliction of duty, maybe the high court, these activist judges can revisit some of their thinking, because to me, this is the closest thing there is to accomplice to murder. You did not plan the crime, you didn't participate, but you were aware. And I don't know how much more plain someone can make it, a paint by number murder. That's what it was. And they joked and Kevin hearted their way out the door, and now she's gone.
Yep. And the man who did it says, I told y'all I was going to do it. You let me. Wow.